It's the Orioles on Masson, and the Birds are mighty happy to be back in their own nest as the San Diego Padres will open up this homestand against the Orioles, a short 2-game series. For the Orioles, 14 out of 17 on the road. That's enough. We want to go home. Well, the Orioles are home. Day off yesterday, 2 games here, and then another day off before the weekend series. And the Orioles hope to take advantage of some home cooking. Let's take a look at the numbers for the Orioles so far this year. Here at Camden Yards, you see the 9-6 record. They are 14-9 on the road. They're averaging 4.9 runs per game here on the road. Almost the same, even though on the road they're hitting 273. 41 extra base hits. Starter ERA at home, that's got to come down. Bullpen ERA just fine. Opponent batting average, that's a good number at 233. And individually, you see the numbers at home so far this year. Adam Jones leading in average. You've got the 3 home runs hit here by Chris Davis. Jim Johnson, the 5 saves, 9 innings pitched, and even a save picked up by Tommy Hunter. In 7 1/3 innings, he has given up nothing here at Camden Yards. So Mike Bordick, players get to come back home literally, figuratively here at the ballpark, and literally back to where they live.
Yeah, finally. It has been, seems like an eternity they've been on the road, and they played great baseball on the road, but I know they're all anxious to come back here, settle in a little bit more. It's been tough ever since spring training. Really no time to really get your roots in place here in Baltimore. Great numbers, though, from this Orioles ball club. They've been consistent here at the Yard, but I look to them to even play better baseball. I think when the fan base starts picking up as summer approaches, more people are going to come in. It's going to be an extra player. This fan gets so excited about this ball club. So I don't think we've seen their best baseball here at Camden Yards. I think they're going to be a lot better.
All right, and we're going to see Chris Tillman going to the mound tonight. He's on a run. He's trying to make it 4 in a row.
Yeah, he's pitched really well. This could possibly be his 5th consecutive quality start. You know, he's really starting to come into his own. The key for Chris Tillman, though, is his secondary stuff. Chris Tillman has quality pitches throughout his repertoire, but it's his off-speed pitches that have kind of costed him his pitch count. He's had 1 game where he's pitched 8 innings. He's had consecutive starts where he's pitched 6 innings or more. But I look for him to get a lot deeper in this ball game with his secondary stuff. The quality of those pitches, throwing them for strikes, and his fastball is incredible. He throws at a low mid-90s, and that's his really best pitch. But his secondary pitches are there. I look for Chris Tillman to have a fabulous ball game.
I never thought we'd be saying this to San Diego coming in, but you know what? Tillman's going to have to be careful over the home runs. They're a ball club noted for their pitching, which actually hasn't been that good of late, but they're hitting some home runs both at home and on the road.
They're a dangerous team. Their record might not show that. They had a tough series in Tampa. They got swept by the Rays, but they were in every ball game. They had the possibility to really sweep Tampa. So they're a dangerous club. They have some speed at the top of the order. It's their starting pitching is the trouble spot. They have a really good bullpen, but they do have power potential, and you got to keep them in Camden Yards.
And here at Camden Yards, some of the ball players who have played here, we're going to get to see back in the lineup. We'll talk about that when we look at San Diego's starting 9. All right, we're set to go when we come back. This is just 1 of 2, a very quick series, and the Orioles. We'll take a look at what lineup they've got going tonight as well. by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Let's take a look at our train game time temperature. Overcast skies at the moment, but a very comfortable 65 degrees and no wind at the ballpark right now. Train is celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. And here's the starting lineup. For the Padres, it'll be Cabrera, Venable, and Headley. Carlos Quentin, Alonso, Kotsay, Jericho, Denorfia, and Hundley. The starters, you see for Alonso, the numbers he's put up this season. He is their leader in RBIs.
And here is your Lowe's scouting report tonight for Chris Tillman. Never stop improving. Chris Tillman has a quality streak going. He has 4 consecutive quality starts, 3 consecutive wins, and he looks to improve on that. Step up. Somebody in the starting rotation has to step up. With Wei-Yin Chen on the shelf with the oblique strain, Chris Tillman has been pitching so well. He could be the guy. He needs to eat up some innings and get deep into this ball game. Secondary success, that is a key for Chris Tillman. He has great off-speed pitches. Problem is, he doesn't throw them for strikes consistently enough, and his pitch count gets jacked up, hence sometimes the early exits from the ball games. Chris Tillman's numbers on the year: 252 average, 280 by lefties, 207 for right-handed batters.
So Bud Black, as you would expect, has put as many left-handers as he can into this lineup. Mark Kotsay will be the DH tonight. Bud Black, the manager, the 7th season with the San Diego Padres, the team 16-21. They are 6.5 games behind the division leaders in the National League West. And they're coming off a 3-game sweep. They were swept by Tampa Bay, so they have lost 3 in a row. Tillman's ready, and the pitch will be in there for a strike, and the Orioles are back home. Erwin Cabrera is a switch hitter. There are the numbers: 238 on the season. He is their shortstop. Good speed. Machado in at third. He'll swing right through the fastball, leaning across the plate. 0-2.
Well, nice start by Chris Tillman. He's had some really good games this year, and he's done it by getting ahead of hitters and then going to those secondary offerings. This is a good start of this ball game.
Tillman with the 0-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled back as Alonso went upstairs to get it. For Chris Tillman, first time out against the San Diego Padres. Tillman here at home is 1-1, a very high ERA though, 5.5. He's been much better on the road with a 2.0 mark and a 1.86 earned run average. The 0-2 delivery, and again that'll be slapped back into the screen, and it stays at 2 strikes.
Well, I like what Chris Tillman is doing now. Aggressive with his fastball, so establish that early, but he mixed in a get-me-over breaking ball. You show hitters that you can throw that pitch for a strike. It gets in the back of their heads, and then that'll make his fastball more effective.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way, and another foul ball. So 3 in a row fouled off after the count got to 0-2. So not only does the leadoff batter Cabrera, but also the rest of the San Diego Padres gets a chance to take a look at some pitches against the first hitter. Here's the 0-2 delivery, and that just missed.
And right at the top of the zone with that breaking ball. Not a bad pitch. Chris Tillman has a big breaking ball starting way at the top. A lot of times you'll see that pitch drop down in the strike zone. Not enough rotation on that one.
1-2 delivery on the way. That's towards the middle. Hardy over to get it. Makes the nice glove pick and gets the out. And he knew he had to hurry, and he did.
Nice play right there by the Gold Glove shortstop J.J. Hardy. Here is the Orioles defense. McLeod, Jones, and Markakis in the outfield. Hardy and Flaherty up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners, with Matt Wieters doing the catching for Chris Tillman.
Orioles #1 defensively in the American League in fielding. Coming into today's play. That'll bring up Venable. Venable's got a 7-game hit streak. One of the 2 hot bats in this lineup that the Orioles will have to watch here in this very short 2-game set. Venable has hit successfully in the last 7. During the streak, hitting .409. During the streak, he's had 7 runs, 3 home runs, and 5 RBIs. Venable and Chase Headley are the 2 hot hitters in the lineup. There are their numbers. The rest of the team, 176.
Well, you know who to attack, right? Who to try to get out. Who are the spark plugs of this offense? And right now, Venable and Headley are the two.
An offense which has struggled. They are 24th in the majors coming into today's play as far as runs are concerned. Team that's forever been based on pitching, and this year have not even had that. And the pitch will be taken up high. Tillman ahead on the count here. A 1-ball 2-strike count. Venable, the left-hander, 3 for 7 with a home run lifetime against the Orioles. There are a few of these San Diego players who have been in the American League before or have played interleague games against San Diego. The Orioles have won 5 and lost 4 against the San Diego Padres historically. That one down the line, curving towards the seats, and that will be a foul ball.
Yeah, Venable way out in front of that changeup. First changeup Chris Tillman has thrown. You see the effects of that, pumping that fastball in there. Just pull it foul to keep this bat alive.
Outfield deep against Venable. 1-2 delivery on the way to him, and Venable will slap at it and miss it. Foul tipped into the mitt, says home plate umpire Tim Welke, and a strikeout for Tillman.
And Chris Tillman doing a great job of mixing up his offerings. 3 out of 4 for throwing his curveball, and this is just a painted fastball in the outside corner. Venable too close to take, and swinging right through it.
So 2 down, nobody on. The Orioles will put the shift on against Chase Headley. 2 away, bases empty, and it is in there for a strike. Headley, coming off the Tampa Bay series, had a 1 for 10. That was a home run. A couple of RBIs picked up in the 3-game set. Headley started on the DL, which really hurt their offense. Missed the first 14 games. He had a fractured left thumb that he picked up during spring training, and they need him. I mean, he finished 5th in National League MVP voting last season, a Rawlings Gold Glove winner, Silver Slugger winner. It's the kind of player you take out of a lineup, you know it.
You got that right. They missed him when he was on the shelf. To have him back in there, I mean, there are many key pieces to an offense. When you take a bat like Headley out of there, it really disrupts the whole flow of their offense. He is a game changer.
He will take the fastball away, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. Headley also coming in, trying to get himself back into playing shape. 85 at bat so far. He's 231 right-handed, 322 left-handed, and this has also been his power side. 3 of the 4 home runs he's picked up left-handed. 2-ball 2-strike count. Tillman's delivery to him, and a high fly ball to right. Nick Markakis is under this one. That one was skied. He's got it, and a good start for Tillman as he retires the side in order. The Orioles line up when we come back. The Padres, let's take a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. McLeod, Machado, and Markakis, Jones, Davis, and Wieters, Hardy, Flaherty, and Pierce. Great start of the month for Hardy, 279, 3 home runs.
And here's the Lowe's scouting report for Andrew Cashner. Never stopped improving. He's looking to settle in. Tell you what, he's been pretty much a relief pitcher his whole career. 92 relief appearance. This is just his 11th start, but in his last outing, 7 1/3, 4 hits, 4 punch-outs. So he's starting to feel that role as a starting pitcher. He is a power pitcher. He has all 4, but he's a fastball change guy, and he can get that fastball up into the high 90s. Controlling the running game, that is a key for him. Very slow to the plate. If a hitter like Nate McLeod gets on, a potential base stealer, you'll see him pick off multiple times to try to slow his rhythm down out there.
And Nate McLeod will stand in back in that leadoff spot for the Orioles against the right-hander, and the pitch will be taken for a strike. McLeod with that real good 286 batting average, 10 RBIs, but of course more importantly for the Orioles, a table center. This will be a tough play at second base. Yurko's got it and will get the out, and McLeod is retired.
Take a look at Cashner. As a reliever, he's fastball, changeup, slider. You see fewer sliders, power pitcher. And out of the pen, he was clocked at over 100 miles an hour at times. Now, as a starter, you see him mixing that slider a little bit more. Still a lot of fastballs and the changeup primarily, but he's got to keep hitters off balance. They can time. It doesn't matter how hard a pitcher throws. They will time that fastball.
Our Jeep inside the numbers, taking a look at the opposing starter in this ball game against the Orioles. Here is Manny Machado, who continues to just light up every newsstand you can find, online or off, with the numbers that he's putting up. As Machado, he's had 3 straight 3-hit ball games. There have only been 3 Orioles ever to have 4 consecutive games with 3 or more hits. He's going to try and reach that mark tonight. And he will take the pitch on the inside corner for a strike from Cashner. Manny Machado's average picked up during that road trip for the Orioles, where he continued to get on base. 3 games in Minnesota where the Orioles were on an offensive tear. And he starts where he left off. A base hit. 1 down here in the first inning. Machado's on.
Pretty impressive, Manny Machado. Here's a look at the Padres defense tonight. Quinton in left field, Denorfia in center, Venable over in right, Cabrera and Jerko playing second, Headley and Alonso on the corners, Hundley doing the catching.
The Orioles are coming off that Minnesota trip where they hit 347 as a team and won 2 out of the 3 ball games. And up and down the lineup, the Orioles had hot bats in that short 3-game road stand. We'll see if they continue here. Another one of the hot bats, Nick Markakis. Nick will foul it off the other way. For Nick Markakis, continues to move up towards that 300 batting average. 351 career average in interleague play is the highest ever. Not just active, but ever. Nick Markakis has truly enjoyed these interleague games, because by the time the pitchers get to know him a little bit, it's too late.
That's right. That is a big key to that.
And here's the toss-overs you were talking about, Mike, trying to hold runners.
Yeah, very slow to the plate, consistently slow, and you know that Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, is in every guy's ear there when they get to first, talking about his move, picking a pitch.
Hundley behind the plate has thrown out just 5 of 30, and the pitch will be taken outside for a ball. There you see Nick, last 4 games. Let's push that average up. Extra base hits. There goes the runner. Straight steal. Hundley's good throw. He got him right on the money. And a tip of the glove from Cashner as Machado's caught stealing.
Well, Manny, a pretty good jump on that play. But Hundley with the great throw, and it had to be perfect. Great tag as well by Cabrera. He received that ball behind second base, slapping it down on Manny's right shoulder. Good position right there by Cabrera. That tag gets the call.
So that is the first time with Cashner on the mound that they have caught somebody trying to steal. 5 out of 6 have been successful. Cabrera, there's a tough play. Pretty good defense right there. So only 3 batters faced, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, nobody left on base. Interleague play scoreless after 1. Free 877-241 Luna. So Tillman retiring the side in order in the first inning. Go after the Padres, opening up our Major League notebook, the West Coast Blues. The Padres have been swept 4 times this season. They were swept all of last year, only 3 times. The last sweep came in the last 3 games at Tampa Bay. They had an 11-3 record in the previous 14. They've scored only 143 runs, 24th in the majors. The state of Bud Black's Padres coming to Baltimore. And that one fouled off the mask. That one rocked Wieters as Quinton went after the first pitch.
Yeah, this Padres team, like a lot of teams, really hoping for solid starting pitching. They do have a very good bullpen. They need their pitchers to get deeper into the ball game as well.
Quinton, who's got power, launches that one to left field, and no one's going to catch that but a fan. Goodbye, home run. Carlos Quinton getting the start in left field in this ball game, just launches one, and we told you this ball club has been hitting home runs. It's his 4th. And his 12th RBI.
Well, Chris Tillman in his last start gave up a couple home runs to the Kansas City Royals. And this pitch, just a little get me over breaking ball. Carlos Quinton, a dangerous hitter. And that slider kind of hung on the middle third of the plate. Saw Matt Wieters setting up away. Didn't quite get it there.
So Quinton delivers the homer. And a 1-0 lead. That'll bring up Alonso. And he'll take the pitch for a strike. That's the 20th home run they have hit in the last 15 ball games. That is not a number you generally would associate with the San Diego Padres. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and the pitch will be taken up high for Tillman. That'll be the 6th home run he's surrendered. The 2nd to be hit by a right-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery. And that pitch is going to be away. And the count goes to 2-1. Tillman making his 8th start. The Orioles are 5-2 in the 7 games he started. Came in a little bit on that one. It's fouled off. Take a look at our Jeep inside the numbers.
Yeah, here it is. I mean, you take a look at Yonder Alonso from April 2nd to April 17th. Great numbers, high average on the breaking ball and the fastball. Changeup giving him trouble. Changeup numbers here recently coming up, still pretty consistent, but some of his numbers coming down. I think the book gets out on hitters quick. Pitchers making adjustments. as Tillman got Alonso the ground out to J.J. Hardy there.
So there's the first out here in the second inning as Alonso is retired. And we said Bud Black trying to get as many lefties into this lineup as he can. So the veteran Mark Kotsay is going to be the designated hitter in this ball game in order to get another left-hander in. Kotsay has not played very much. He went 1 for 3 as the DH in the game played 3 days ago in Tampa Bay. Had not appeared in the previous 9 games prior to that, and had just a 1 for 3 in that series against Tampa Bay. He's only been in 21 games and has made only 6 starts. This is his second start as a DH. But Kotsay's got power, and Tillman has some big numbers given up against left-handers.
Yeah, Kotsay, of course, a veteran player, so he knows how to make the adjustments when he doesn't get consistent at bats.
Tillman will miss on that one. Mark Kotsay against the Orioles, a lifetime .260 career batting average. He has had a number of games against the O's over the years. 2-ball, 1-strike delivery to him, and he'll put that one down the line in left. McLouth a long run. He'll get there. 2 down. Tomorrow, the Orioles invite you to skip out of work early as the O's and the Padres close out this 2-game series. It'll be a 12:35 first pitch here at the Yard. Enjoy a great summer afternoon with the Birds in the ballpark that forever changed baseball. So just clear your schedule. We'll see you here tomorrow, 888-848-BIRD, or go to Orioles.com. 12:35 start tomorrow here at Camden Yards. That ball's going to be into the gap. Jericho got a hold of that one, and Jones hit so hard it'll be a single. And the second baseman is on with the second hit of the ball game for the Padres.
Nice little bit of hitting right there by Jericho. Tillman trying to get ahead. Even when you try to get ahead, you have to make quality strike pitches. That a fastball just right down the heart of the plate. Jericho driving it back up the middle.
Chris Denorfia coming up. He's getting the start in center field. Lifetime .250 hitter against the Orioles. Denorfia with a runner at first and 2 down. And he'll take the pitch away for a ball. Real good numbers on the year for him with that average at .283. He's picked up 11 RBIs. Denorfia keeps the outfield straight away. And that's at the knees for a strike.
Tillman, really good fastball tonight. Been able to locate it very well, mixing up his pitches. That little slider that Quentin hit, really his only mistake.
1 ball, 1 strike count. And that's going to be a base hit into right field. Runner going. Jericho will make the turn. Throw's got to come into the cutoff man. And the Padres cover the corners here with 2 down. And Denorfia single the other way.
A pretty good piece of hitting right there. With another fastball staying inside it, driving it to right field.
So that will bring up Hundley. There are 2 down. Hundley, the number 9 hitter and their catcher. He's really been on a roller coaster. He finished up at Tampa Bay with a 1 for 3 in the ballgame on Sunday. They had the day off yesterday. That snapped an 0 for 21 that he had been in. And that came after a 7-game hit streak where he hit .379. So it's been all over the place here, start of the season for Nick Hundley.
It's kind of crazy how that works sometimes. Now the Orioles pretty lucky to have Adam Jones on their squad, who's had multiple long hitting streaks this year, and then just 1 game miss and then boom, right back onto a streak. And sometimes it drives hitters crazy, feeling so good for a week, and then where did it go?
Yeah.
For 3 or 4 games.
And a check at first base did not go around. Mike Everett down there at first. Tim Wilkie, the crew chief, has got the plate tonight. Mike Everett's at first. Marty Foster at second. And Barry Scott is at third base. Only a couple of hits and 22 at bats with runners in scoring position for Hundley, who's at the plate. 2-0 delivery to him, and he'll foul that back. 2-1. San Diego is a team hitting .250 with runners in scoring position. That is 8th in the National League. Orioles are 40 points better in that department with runners in scoring position and third in the American League. Jerko at third base, and Orpheus on at first. A run in on the leadoff homer by Quinton is fourth of the year. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And that's going to miss, and the count will go to 3-1. That game against Kansas City, last outing for Tillman, all 3 of the runs scored on the homers that Mike was talking about. Gordon had 1, Moustakas had 1. 3 runs on 5 hits and 6 innings in the ball game that he won. Winning his last 3 inside, and that got him. The bases are loaded. Just nicked him on the way by to load him up.
Well, it seemed like that at bat right there after giving up a couple singles on his fastball, maybe trying to be too fine with it, and this 3-1 fastball gets away. You see it catch Hundley right there on the elbow to load the bases.
So the bases loaded with 2 down here in the second and the top of the order. Everett Cabrera coming up. He grounded out his first time up, 300 in his career with the bases loaded, and he's been one of their better runner in scoring position hitters at 310. So a big moment early here for Tillman. There are 2 down, and the pitch is there for a strike.
He definitely has a good feel for his curveball in the early part of this ball game.
Cabrera is 0 for his last 12 at the plate. He is their everyday shortstop. Mike and I were talking between innings. That play he made to end that last half inning was not an easy play, and he made it look good. And Mike was saying this is one of the real good shortstops around him.
He really is. I think there are a lot of players over on the West Coast that don't get recognized. People just aren't familiar with some of the teams out there, and especially in the National League. There's a lot of talk about this young player being one of the premier shortstops in the game. Very exciting to watch defensively.
1 ball, 1 strike count, 2 down. Outfield moved in a couple of steps in left and center. Tillman's pitch, a fastball that tied him up. Put it right by him, and it goes to 1-2.
Well, there you go. A lot of times throwing a couple breaking balls and a fastball will lock you up. Now Chris Tillman started him off with a strike with a breaking ball, then bounced one in the dirt, and you see no reaction right there. And pretty good hitters count on a fastball.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Here's the 1-2 delivery to him. Look out. Fouled off outside the third, right by Glenn Hoffman, the third base coach down there. And the count will stay at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Tillman working to get out of this inning. He has 30 strikeouts in the 40 2/3 coming in, 18 walks. Gives up about a hit per inning, 38 hits in 40 2/3. One, 2. And he went around. He got him. Barry Scott, third base umpire, confirming it. Tillman gets a big strikeout, his second. Quinton got the home run. Padres lead it. Kowalczyk. Paul, you've already won $500 for being selected. You get $100 more for every Orioles hit during our game, plus an extra $500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery Hit It Big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. And Paul, good luck. I looked at your name at first, and I was going to say Killer Kowalski. Do you remember Killer Kowalski?
I remember Killer Kowalski.
Yeah.
No, I actually pitched or played with a guy named Killer Kowalski.
Did you really?
Yeah. Up at the University of Maine. We used to call him Killer Kowalski. They probably did because of the wrestler.
It was the wrestler. Back in the 60s and 70s, Killer Kowalski was on the East Coast tour of whatever the Federation was at that point in time. He was one of my favorites, though. He had a claw hold. That was his put-away hold. He'd grab you right by the stomach with his hand. The claw hold and Killer Kowalski. Oh, God. We go to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Adam Jones will lead it off. And he will take the pitch down low for a ball. Adam coming into this day in the American League rankings, 2nd in runs, tied for 3rd in doubles, tied for 3rd in hits. He's been on 35 of 38 games. And he went around on that one. Mike Everett says it first.
Cashner really going to his off-speed pitches in the early part of this ball game. Throwing a couple sliders to Adam Jones right there.
One of the premier fastball pitchers this year. Jones will take that pitch. It'll miss down low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Cashner, .220 batting average against him. Left-handers .271. The right-handers .160. Down to third base. Bad hop. Headley stood right in front of it, though, and gets the out. That'll bring up Chris Davis, who's continuing to put up amazing numbers. 11 home runs this season. Up there at the top in the American League. And when he hits them, he really hits them. That to the batter's eye in that game in Minnesota.
That's a big field, too, and he made it look small on that swing.
11 home runs, tied with Mark Reynolds and Edwin Encarnacion of Toronto. The RBIs, he is 2nd with the 37. Best slugging percentage and the 7th best on base percentage in the American League. 1-0 count. And that one is in there for a strike. Took something off that pitch, too.
Yeah, real good changeup, and typically those are his offerings. Those are his primary 2 pitches, fastball, and then he throws that changeup off it. But he's been mixing in the slider kind of regularly here in the early part of this game.
54% ground ball pitcher when it comes to recording outs. He's not been successful on the road this year. He's 0-2 with an ERA of 5.8. That one is into the corner. That'll be an extra base hit for Davis. Going over to get it, Venable. Into second base, standing up with it, a double. Chris Davis is piling up the 2-baggers.
Well, Chris Davis, probably one of the most dangerous hitters in all of baseball right now. And if you make a mistake with him, he will make you pay. This a hanging slider. Great head position. Great leg position. Look how he stays behind this baseball and drives that mistake down the right field line.
Tied for 5th in doubles in the American League now. The Orioles have Manny Machado and Adam Jones both have 14. That's tied for 3rd in doubles, and right behind them is Chris Davis now. Here's Matt Wieters. Wieters will get the RBI chance. 1 down, runner at second base. Padres have the 1-0 lead. Mentioned the Orioles .290 as a team with runners in scoring position this year. Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. Wieters takes a fastball. It's going to catch the inside corner, and the count goes to 0-2. Chris Davis will get a pretty good lead at second base. They play Wieters to pull and have moved Jerko, the second baseman, around into shallow right field. Have left the shortstop, though, on the shortstop side of the bag. 0-2 delivery. And Wieters will take it inside 1-2. You'd think with that fastball, Cashner might have more strikeouts. He's got 24 strikeouts in 31 innings. And no sooner said than done, and it wasn't the fastball.
Take a look at this slider here from Cashner. Really good pitch, down and in. Now Wieters swinging right over the top of it.
Our Nissan pitch track with a look at the K. First one of the ball game for Cashner, and that will bring up Hardy. J.J. Hardy's got the 9-game hit streak going for the Orioles. Picking up the numbers in May as expected. That's the third. Headley's got it and will record the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. The Orioles with an 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position in the second inning. Padres lead it. On Masson is brought to you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Discover Ocean City, Maryland's free beach, great accommodations, and exciting dining and nightlife at OCOcean.com. Gary Thorne and Mike Wardick here at Camden Yards for the opener tonight. The Orioles 5-4 forever against San Diego. Birds took 2 out of 3 at home back in 2002. Then in 2007, they went 2-1 in San Diego, and then 1-2 in San Diego in 2010. 9 meetings between these two teams over the years. The Orioles will repay the visit as the O's will be in San Diego August 6 and 7. Part of the trip with the West Coast Giants and Arizona. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Venable. Strikeout victim is first time up. 7 came to the plate in the second inning. The San Diego's, they left the bases loaded. Pitch is going to be taken up high. Venable with a 245 average, but it is climbing. Tillman with a 2-1 delivery. That one's going to go to the corner. Will it stay fair? No.
Seems like here in the early going, Chris Tillman really aggressive in the strike zone, has command of all of his pitches, but these Padres hitters really keeping at bats alive with foul balls, and I think that's what's led to the pitch count getting up to 49 at this point.
Pitching coach Rick Adair already taking a look at that chart rather seriously. And the pitch is going to be away. The San Diego team, as we said, they have struggled with their offense. Part of that because key players were out at the beginning of the season. 3-2 delivery to Venable, and he'll foul it back. Padres are 12th in average and 11th in runs in the National League. They rank 12th out of 15 in homers. The real surprise is that their pitching staff has the 13th highest ERA in the National League, and their starters the second highest. Popped up in the air and again back out of play.
And another foul ball. See, once again, Chris Tillman making some good pitches with these Padres hitters staying alive and really jacking the pitch count up here.
This will be the 8th pitch of this at bat to Venable, and walked him. So a leadoff walk surrendered here in the 3rd inning. Let's take a look at our Major League Notebook here on our East Winds page. Toronto Blue Jays, how about their starters? Second highest in the majors with a 5.46 ERA. Their bullpen has already had to work second most innings. The Red Sox this May, a 176 average. Runners in scoring position averaging only 3.8 runs. And the Rays are hot. They've won 5 in a row, over 500 for the first time since April 6. So here comes Tampa Bay. And the pitch taken for a strike. Chase Headley, the number 3 hitter, flied out to right his first time up. Tillman with a look over at first. Infield playing into pull. Pitch will be right there for a strike. Quickly 0-2.
Well, that's the way you get ahead. Really aggressive. No, a good payoff pitch here to finish up Headley would be nice for Chris Tillman.
Headley, the switch hitter. Power side, his left side. 0-2 delivery, and close but not quite. Missed outside apparently in a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Yeah, Matt Wieters calling for that fastball up and away just to change the look from for Headley. And now he's got some weapons to go to. I think Headley might be thinking trying to paint that outside corner a little bit. Wouldn't be surprised to see a breaking ball. Maybe something down in the zone, down and in.
Little throw over. Not a very big lead. San Diego Padres have picked up 28 stolen bases. 35 chances on the year, led by Cabrera, who's got 11. 1-2 delivery, and that'll be a broken back ground ball to second. Flaherty, Hardy, relay, good one, good pick at first. Davis able to get it after Hardy had to make the throw and the sliding Venable, and they get 2.
Well, pretty much well executed all the way around. Chris Tillman making the great pitch, a little slider in, get on the hands. Look at the nice power feed. Venable all over Hardy. Hardy with the quick release and to be able to get up and over. A nice pick on the end by Chris Davis.
Take a look at our Hollywood Casino League leaderboard. Slots, tables, and dining. The ultimate triple play at Hollywood Casino with Charlestown Races. The Orioles on top. In the American League as a team fielding wise, Seattle, Detroit, the Yankees, and Texas. And that is going to be foul back. Quinton had the home run, his 4th of the year, coming in the 2nd inning. Carlos Quinton against the Orioles now has 7 career home runs. A .274 lifetime average against the O's, and he fouls that one off.
Well, Quinton, such a dangerous hitter. He has one thing in mind when he steps to the batter's box, and that's try to hit the cover off the baseball and hit as far as he can. Just about every swing. Now, he does have holes, and he can be pitched to. And you can't make mistakes on him, though.
Quinton will take the pitch way up high. Quinton has hit 5 home runs, 5 of the 7 against the Orioles in this ballpark. But his batting average here at Camden Yards is only a .194, and he's had 63 at-bats here at Camden Yards over the years. 1-2 delivery. I was looking. There were some stories about San Diego. Quinton's having trouble getting going with the long ball. His knees have been hurting him a little bit. Would he be someone the Orioles would be interested in a DH role?
Possibly. I think the Orioles are going to be patient for their guys, though. Hopefully they heat up for them, because they have had troubles, obviously, in that DH role. But Buck Showalter still likes the versatility of players. He likes players he can put out there on defense, guys that are good defenders, yet still have an impact offensively. And he's just waiting on Nolan Reimhold. Steve Pearce has actually been swinging the bat much better here as of late.
2-2 delivery on the way, and a towering pop-up. Third base. Machado's in foul territory, and he'll put that away. So the Orioles defense, with the help of the double play, Tillman out of it, facing only 3. .65, Carl Yastrzemski, the Red Sox, hit for the cycle and added another home run. It was a home run day. 1972, Willie Mays, 41, back in New York, debuted with the Mets, hit a home run against the Giants. And in 2012, at 19 years, 211 days, Bryce Harper became the youngest player in franchise history to hit a home run with the Nationals. Volkswagen Springtoberfest event going on now. Visit VWDealer.com today. Who's your hero?
Yes.
Carl Yastrzemski. Huh?
He was always somebody I kind of emulated, playing wiffle ball in the backyard with hands way up over my head, you know.
And a swing and a miss. He made great catches with those tennis balls coming off the garage out back when I was young. I'll tell you that much. Balls hit high and deep. He leaped.
Yeah.
And he caught them. 0-1 the count. Flaherty, Pierce, and then McLeod are due up for the Orioles here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Carlos Quentin home run leading off the 2nd, the only run on the board.
Ryan Flaherty still working hard out early today. Once again with Presley.
Towards left field, maybe. Goodbye, home run! Extra work pays off as Flaherty puts one into the left field seats, and the Orioles tie the ball game up.
Good stuff right there. That hard work, like you said, paying off for Ryan Flaherty. 2nd home run of the year. He's been hitting the ball hard here lately this past week, but really nothing to show for it. That might be something that gets Ryan Flaherty's bat rolling.
So the Orioles get it tied up, and Flaherty gets number 2 in the home run department, RBI number 6. Only the 3rd home run surrendered by Cashner this year.
Let's take a look at the Nissan pitch track here. A little fastball in the outer 3rd, and Ryan Flaherty going with it. Has great power the other way and utilizes that strength to just get it over the wall.
And Presley, the hitting coach, there with him. Designated hitter, batting 9th in the lineup, Steve Pearce, hitting at .243. Steve lifts that one to center field on a line. It'll be hauled in. Denorfius there to get it, and one away here in the 3rd inning.
I'll tell you what, there's a look at Ryan Flaherty, but nothing makes a hitting coach feel better than seeing all the hard work pay off, kind of reinforce what Jim Presley has been working with Ryan Flaherty on. And you saw them briefly talking. A little bit of support there from Press.
Flaherty with the 2 homers. That's the first one at home this year. And on the inside corner, first strike, Nick McLeod. Oriole leadoff batter, grounded out his first time up. Hitting .250 with runners on, .301 with the bases empty. That's why he's been such a good table setter. Northfield will come on and make the play. Couple of fly ball outs to center. Want a chance to meet O's pitcher Darren O'Day? Well, just visit Facebook.com/Masson Orioles. Click on Enter Sweepstakes for your chance to win. Enter once per day. One ball game. Here is Manny Machado, picked up a base hit. His first time to the plate. Cashler's delivery to him will be inside for a ball. Told you that Machado's had 3 straight 3-hit games. Can he get a 4th 3-hit ball game consecutively? Don Buford, Eddie Murray, Cal Jr. The only Orioles ever to have done that. Headley will record the out. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. The Orioles get it tied. Ryan Flaherty leading off the inning. Pokes one the other way to left field. The Souvenir makes it 1-1.
Solo home runs. Take a look at Chris Tillman here. 63 pitches, 68% fastballs, 21% breaking balls, 11% off speed. Now we'll look at the Jeep inside the numbers here. From 2009 to 2011, Chris Tillman's breaking ball was getting hit a little bit, but from 2012 last year into this year, nothing on the board. 51 at bats right there, no hits, no average at all. And tonight he's been very successful with that big 12-6 breaking ball that he can throw for strikes.
And Alonso will take that pitch for a ball. Tillman now 9 out of 14 in first pitch strikes thrown. And Tillman is one of those pitchers where it really matters. If he can get that first strike, after that hitters have a 127 batting average. If he doesn't, it jumps to 333. So getting ahead really matters. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery, and that ball will be fouled back. Funny how that varies. I mean, it's a general rule, obviously. You get the first strike, you're in much better shape as a pitcher, but it's all over the place, the numbers on different pitchers.
Yeah, it really is. But with Chris Tillman, he has so many weapons. And if he gets ahead, he has all those weapons in the back of the hitter's mind.
Shattered the bat that goes all over the place. 3 pieces of it out there on the field. One that almost picked off Chris Davis.
Is there a stat on how many pieces a bat
No, but we'll get it
to?
for you.
Because this is really good. This fastball up and in. Great location there. And that is just the exploding bat trick. You see pieces flying all over the field. Chris Davis probably having a hard time picking up that baseball down there at first, but able to focus on the ball and get that out.
And one piece of that bat got all the way down to him. Here is Kotsay. Kotsay will lift it for a base hit into right field. So he is 1 for 2. And picks up the single with one down here in the 4th inning. Don't forget that voting for the All-Star game underway at Orioles.com/vote-orange. You can vote up to 35 times. If you vote 25, you'll receive a voucher good for 10 off any box, 5 off any reserved for one of the games against the Astros at the end of July. One lucky fan voting 35 times will get the All-Star jersey autographed by the Orioles All-Stars. So vote early, vote often, vote orange. Here is Jerko, and he will foul it back. He picked up a single his first time up. Jed Jerko, 0 for 12 coming into this game. Got rid of that his first time up, picking up the single. Had an 0 for 8 in the 3 games in Tampa Bay. Here's the 0-1 delivery to him off the fist. Davis back and over. And no play. Orioles won 3-0. The Padres won 4-0. Padres have left 3. The Orioles have left 1 through the first 3 innings of this ball game. Back here for the 12:35 first pitch tomorrow. And that will do it for a quick 2-game set. And then the Orioles get another day off. And that'll be taken outside. Jerko, just 24 years old, out of Morgantown, West Virginia. Last season, AAA, hit .311. 30 home runs, 100 RBIs between AAA and AA last year. 1-2 delivery by Tillman, and that will be away. 93-mile-an-hour fastball evens the count.
That's his hardest fastball to this point in the ball game. And Chris Tillman, I think historically his fastball velocity increases as the game goes. So good sign there, loosening up a little bit.
Runner off first base, not a big lead. 2-2 is in the dirt. Wieder's able to block it. And a 3-ball, 2-strike count on a breaking ball. 73 pitches. For 10 outs.
Yeah, a lot of pitches here in the early going, and you know we had talked earlier just about you have to give the hitters credit too for fouling off some tough pitches. And Chris Tillman still getting ahead, trying to be too fine after he gets ahead.
So he issues the walk, and the Padres have runners on at first and second base. 2 walks. Tillman 2 walks and 2 strikeouts so far. Chris Denorfia will stand in. Denorfia, their center fielder, picked up a single his first time up. So the Padres get another shot at it here with the ball game tied. Denorfia, 350 with runners in scoring position, and will foul that one away. So Chris Tillman living a little dangerously here this inning and the second when the Padres left the bases loaded. They have had the leadoff man on 2 of the 4 innings. 0-1 delivery. Fastball will miss outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Chris trying to get the feel for that outside corner on right-handed hitters. A little bit inconsistent with the fastball location there, but he's painting the inside corner on the righties and away on lefties.
1-1 delivery and a big swing and a miss.
I'll take a look at our Nissan pitch track here. This fastball elevated right at the top of the zone, and Denorfia can't catch up to that one.
So Tillman gets ahead on the count here. Ball and 2 strikes. Kotsay at second. Jerko at first. 1-2 delivery, and that will be foul back. Thought one of the real positive notes for Chris coming into the ball game, opponent batting average has dropped down every start. There was one start where the number happened to be the same from one game to the next, but he's gone from a 467 in his first start of the year to a 252 batting average in the last game. And 252 is where he's at on the season right now. 1-2 delivery on the way, and that's going to be fouled off. And here they go again, fighting off pitches.
Boy, really good breaking ball right there, too, from Chris Tillman. Great location. Denorfia just getting enough of it to stay alive in this at bat.
With runners in scoring position against Tillman, opponents are 267. Bud Black and Buck Showalter, the 2 skippers in this 2-game set. And a swing and a miss.
A good pitch and a great call by Matt Wieters. Really slowed him down with that breaking ball, and I think Denorfia thinking about a fastball here. Good slider, tight spin. Doesn't pick up that spin on it. Just enough break to get it off the end of the bat for strike 3.
So now with 2 away, Nick Hundley will come to the plate. Still runners at first and second. Hundley was hit by a pitch. First hit batter Tillman has had this year. He was left stranded in the 2nd inning. And the pitch will be outside for a ball. So Hundley gets another chance. He came up with runners on at first and third in the 2nd. Three Ks so far for Tillman. 1-0 delivery. Machado's got it. Goes to second. Nice play made by Flaherty to haul that in. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 more are left on base. Ball game tied 1-1. Ball game tied at 1 apiece on home runs. Come and get it. Come and get it. Quinton had a leadoff homer in the 2nd inning, his 4th. And Flaherty came and got it, leading off the 3rd.
that was pretty good. You're a pretty good rapper, Gary.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I got a vinyl coming out next week. It's called Rap Till You Melt. It'll be followed up by an 8-track. Oh my gosh. Bernard and Alice Brown, your favorite security guard here at the ballpark, said I had to say hi or he wouldn't let me in tomorrow. So, hi. Thanks for being such good fans, Bernard and Alice. We know you're out there watching a lot of baseball with us. Happy to have you on board. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Nate Markakis. Silo shot. Shortstop. Cabrera will put it away. Markakis 0 for 2.
Well, that's the effect of a powerful fastball. Earlier in the count, changeup right there to Nick Markakis, getting him out a little bit in front. Take a look at the extra mile index. American League runs leaders this year. Adam Jones about at the top of the list with 29. Austin Jackson leading the way with 33. But Manny Machado and Nate McLouth on that list as well. Extra mile index. It's time for the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile.
And Adam Jones up with one down and nobody on. He grounded out. His first time up. That .319 batting average. And Jones will take the pitch on the outside corner for a strike. Cashner, at least so far in the ball game, like Tillman, looking pretty solid and much more efficient. He's thrown only 37 pitches. That'll be in the dirt. Hits by Hundley and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Jones. Adam looking forward to the trip to San Diego later in the year. Back home, of course, where Adam Jones is from. And that hitting. And since we've had one hit batter earlier, home plate umpire Tim Welke immediately goes out in front of home plate. Hundley got hit by a pitch in the second inning, the catcher.
Well, they definitely wanted to go inside on Adam Jones. And you know it doesn't feel too good. 93, 94 miles an hour. Catches his elbow, then off the stomach there a little bit. Adam Jones appears to be okay.
That is the second hit batter of the year by Cashner. So here in the fourth inning with one down, Davis comes up with a runner on. Chris Davis delivered the double. His first time to the plate. Infield double play depth and the throw over, and Jones diving back in. As we told you, the first stolen base out recorded was Manny Machado in the first inning when Cashner's been on the mound. Base stealers are 5 out of 6 when he's pitching, and Hundley's now thrown out 6 of 31. So as Mike said early when we started, a lot of throws to first, try and keep base runners close. And Adam is 5 for 5 stealing bases.
Yeah, that's really his only weapon to control the running game. Multiple pickoff attempts at first base. Traditionally very slow times to home.
Foul back. And a 1-strike count. There's nothing that a batter plunked would rather do than go to first and steal.
Yeah. Exactly. You know Adam Jones is thinking about it. Wayne Kirby's down there talking to him about a pitch to go on.
And again the throw over to get him back. Alonso, the first baseman, on the bag. 24-year-old right-hander, 2-2. 10th appearance this year, 5th start. Jones, pretty good lead.
Yeah, definitely extending that lead a little bit. You saw him the pitch prior, stood up going into the bag, but just that little bit of extension, maybe the thought of stealing a base. He has to go step and a dive to get back in there safely.
1-strike delivery, runner not going. And Davis went after a pitch out of the strike zone, bangs his hand on the bat for doing so. And it goes to 2 strikes. Chris Davis with the 37 RBIs, 318 batting average. And this time Jones is like one step off the bag. Tough way to pitch when you can't get to the plate in a hurry. Jones not going, and an inside pitch swung out and missed. Cashner gets his second strikeout.
Well, one thing that'll help shut down the running game is a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. It really doesn't matter how slow you are to the plate. You can rush that pitch up there, and that pitch up and in. Great location on Chris Davis. Just swinging through it.
Cashner records the out. There are two down. Wieters, the strikeout victim, his first time up. And again, Jones back. We've talked about his fastball, Mike. You take a look. Here's the highest average fastball velocity this season.
Yeah, big numbers there. And Cashner on that list at 95 miles an hour. Rosenthal 97.1. Chapman 96.7. There's some strong arms right there. We're going to talk about Cashner. When he was coming out of the bullpen this spring training, they clocked him at 102 miles an hour. So great power arm. Now the Orioles have a pitcher similar to that. Tommy Hunter, when he started his flat fastball velocity down in the low 90s, when he went to the bullpen, though, we've seen it elevate, and he's hit 100 miles an hour. There's a look at Tommy on the bullpen. But now you have to make the adjustment as a starter. He hasn't come down much. 95-mile-an-hour fastball average. Still a powerful pitcher, and they're hoping he can keep that velocity and still stay consistent as a starting pitcher.
Matt Wieters with a one-strike count, two down. Jones drawing a lot of attention at first base. Wieters pulls it, and it's going to go foul. Get out in front of that one.
Let's take a look at the Jeep inside the numbers for Matt Wieters. Career home runs versus right-handed pitchers. Now 28 to right field doesn't necessarily say that he's predominantly a pull hitter. Matt Wieters has great power to left field. I just think by the book, pitchers try to get Matt Wieters out inside, and when they make a mistake in there, he makes them pay with the 28 long balls.
0-2 count. And the fastball will come inside. Tell you one thing, when you throw that hard as Cashner does, if you're willing to come inside, you're going to have some success. You keep hitters from digging in, keep their feet moving, and they will if they know you're willing to bring that fastball inside. Sets up a lot of other opportunities away with other pitchers. 1-2 delivery on the way, fouled off. I was talking about that for the ball game today around the cage with Presley, the Orioles hitting instructor, about when's the last time you see a guy get down, get decked in the batter's box. I can't even remember.
It doesn't happen as often nowadays, obviously, and I think pitchers are more comfortable pitching away for sure.
Yep. But
the pitchers that have consistent success now in the big leagues are able to pitch inside. Look at the Orioles. Wei-Yin Chen is great at throwing a fastball in for strikes and off the plate, and I think that's what makes him so, having so much success here now coming over to pitch for the Orioles.
You cannot let major league hitters get comfortable.
No, you really can't.
Or they're going to hit.
Like you said, it wasn't too long ago you'd get knocked down.
Yeah.
You'd get dusted.
We just don't see that anymore in the majors. 2-ball, 2-strike count, 2 away. Jones might have been going there. He twitched as though he was going to take off to second base. 2-2, 2 down.
And take a look at Adam Jones extending his lead a little bit, trying to time him up. That's a pretty quick snap throw from the big right-hander Cashner.
And the fastball foul tipped into the mid. 3 strikeouts, 2 of them coming in the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left on base. It's tied. Tillman has picked up 3 strikeouts. Got Venable. The first one in that first inning had Cabrera and then Denorfia. The other side, the right-hander, 24-year-old Cashner, also 3 Ks, including that one coming against Wieters. Good jam shot against Davis, running it in.
Now both pitchers doing very well. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits for Cashner, 4 for Tillman. See the 2 strikeouts there for Tillman, 3 strikeouts for Cashner. The pitch count is of concern right now. Chris Tillman all the way up to 82. Cashner definitely working a little bit better. Just 48 pitches for him.
So a good pitching duel underway. Tillman back to work. Cabrera bunting, not a good one. Everett Cabrera, the leadoff hitter, to be followed by Venable and Headley. Cabrera is 0 for 2. He has grounded out, struck out. 26-year-old out of Nicaragua. Led the National League with 44 stolen bases last year. The first Padre in team history to lead the National League in steals. Put up 98 hits, had 19 doubles. And that pitch is there by Tillman, 0-2.
Great breaking ball right there from Chris Tillman.
Oh, 2 the count. This is a pretty good pick for a Rule 5 draft, don't you think?
A really good pick.
Wow, they got him from Colorado back in 2008 on a Rule 5. He never played for the Rockies at the major league level. 1-2 delivery and just missed inside. 2-2.
Well, the concern with most players nowadays, as we look at this pitch from Chris Tillman, nice fastball, great location, could have gone either way. Of course, Chris not getting the call there. Is, are they going to be able to sustain it offensively? Well, he has some tools as he gets jammed by that little cutter.
And there's his speed coming into play as he makes it close at first base. 1 down here in the 5th inning. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report tomorrow 5 to 7 after the Orioles play the Padres. Tom Davis, Dave Johnson, Mel Anton, and Phil Wood. They'll recap the game, have a look at all the news and notes with the O's. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report only on Masson, 5 to 7 tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow's a 12:35 day game. Here's Venable. Venable with a walk, and he is struck out. Down to first base, Davis bobbles. And there's a good move. Tillman on a play that if you looked at it, looked like Davis would handle it himself. Tillman still came off the mound and as a result gets the out.
Yeah, really good play actually by both Davis and Tillman. Now you see Davis trying to get that angle on the ball, kicks away, but understands the time, the speed of the runner, speed of the ball, and there's no panic right there. He gets it. There's Tillman. Boom, got the out. And that's what Bobby Dickerson, of course the infield coach, is trying to teach Chris Davis over there. First time as an everyday first baseman, and great results on that play. No panic at all.
And Headley will take the pitch for a strike. Headley's hit into a double play, and he has flied out. When he gets going, will probably be their RBI leader once again, as he was last year. 0-1 pitch will be taken. 1 ball and 1 strike. Drove in 115 on the season last year, hitting at .286 with the Padres. And that pitch will bounce. 2 ball 1 strike count.
Chris a little bit upset in that pitch right there. Tried to overthrow the breaking ball. When you get dangerous hitters up there, sometimes you try to do too much with it, and I think that's what Chris tried to do with that breaking ball.
Headley, a slow roller, will be fouled outside of first base. Quinton, the home run in the 2nd inning, matched by Flaherty in the 3rd, and a 1-1 game. 4 hits for the Padres, 3 for the Orioles. We're in the top half of the 5th inning. Chris Tillman, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for the Orioles, and another. He's got 4 Ks in the game, and this pitcher's duel continues. He retires the side in order for the 2nd time in 5 innings. the fifth inning home run bonus. For this inning only, today's Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game will receive $500 for any Orioles home run. Paul Kowalczyk has already won $800 tonight. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. First of two for the Orioles. Tomorrow, 12:35, first pitch. Freddie Garcia is going to make the start for the O's against Jason Marquis. Then the Orioles get a day off. Tampa Bay comes in on Friday. And they'll play Friday night, 7 o'clock game, a Fox game on Saturday at 4, and a Sunday afternoon game at 1:35. Starters in that for the Orioles: Jason Hamill game 1, Chris Tillman game 3. Game 2 has not been announced, and we'll see, as is usual with the non-rotation rotation. Here's J.J. Hardy, grounded out his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to him. Little roller and foul. Pretty night here at the ballpark, and should be a glorious day tomorrow if the forecast is right. It's going to warm up a little bit. And with the day game at 12:35, he might not have to wear the outer jacket.
He'll be thankful for that. He's played in some cold weather here in the early part of this season.
1 ball, 2 strike count, and Hardy rips it up the middle. That's where through the box comes from right there. A leadoff single. And a 10-game hit streak for Hardy. Well, in our Say What part of our notebook, tools of ignorance, you've heard, nickname for the catcher's protective equipment, the mask, chest protector, shin guards. The first time that term appeared in print is 1939, an issue of Baseball magazine, quoting the Yankee catcher Bill Dickey. Dickey, on a hot July day, was talking to reporters, and that's when he was wondering aloud, while he was putting on his gear, why anyone in his right mind would want to be a catcher in the July heat. Out of the Smithsonian question and answer file on baseball. Apparently, though, the term itself was actually first uttered by Harold Muddy Rule. He was a lawyer turned catcher. Now, right there, you got tools of ignorance. He caught Walter Johnson with the Washington Senators back in the 20s, and apparently once used the term back then, but it never made it into print until someone quoted Bill Dickey. At least that's the history as it stands right now. A lawyer turned catcher. Can you imagine how many people want to throw fastballs at him? Throw over to first base. Flaherty at the plate. The home run, his second of the year, tied this ball game up in the third.
Yeah, Ryan Flaherty's first at bat. He got a fastball on the outer third of the plate. Well, Cashner mixing up some off speed here. Nice changeup. And that's how you move your feet right there. Take a look at Ryan Flaherty's home run, staying on that ball. First career home run in interleague play. Ryan Flaherty, Presley, Buck Showalter all hoping that that home run is one that's going to ignite Ryan Flaherty and keep him in that lineup more consistently.
2 ball, 1 strike count on him. Hardy at first base. Not going to go anywhere. Keeps that hole between first and second. Hughes, double play. And not a darn thing you can do about that. Alonso with a nice snag. He was coming off the bag. Otherwise, that goes into the corner. 2 down.
Well, Ryan Flaherty has been hitting the ball hard over the last week. Once again, nothing to show for it right there. That was a bullet. Take a look at it. Getting to that inside fastball. Pretty good reactions down there by Alonso. If he doesn't make this play, Hardy may have a chance to score from first.
Got some pretty good hang time right there.
Yeah,
get off the ground. So 2 away, and here's Steve Pearce, the DH, flying out to center his first time up. And that pitch will be taken up high. Orioles continue to hope for some numbers from their DHs, combining for a 147 batting average coming into the ball game. 3 home runs and 11 RBIs. 2-0 count. And Pierce will take it for a strike. Orioles DH right now last in batting average, last in OPS. The 7 extra base hits tied for last, and 11 RBIs are last. As Mike said, the hope is Pierce, Reimold, and get it going. That one to right will be hauled in. Venable over there, and that will do it in the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base. Pitcher's duel meanders on with some pretty good defense behind him. Tied at 1 apiece. Gary Thorne, Mike Bordick back. Real good pitching duel.
Sure is. I mean, we're seeing some great things out of both pitchers. I think Chris Tillman has command of all of his pitches. I think the Padres hitters are really frustrating him right now, fouling off a lot of pitches, getting deep into the count. And that's why Chris Tillman's pitch count is up. But we're seeing a lot of good things from the young right-hander for the Padres as well. That power fastball, good changeup, and he's throwing a lot more sliders than I think the Orioles hitters have expected.
A little earmark of a National League game, don't you? The feel of it so far in this ballgame.
Yeah, low-scoring game, not much going on. I think, fortunately, pitchers don't have to hit tonight, though.
Yeah, exactly. And we go to the 6th inning. Carlos Quentin, who delivered the home run in the 2nd inning. Alonso, Kotze to follow against Tillman. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts in the ballgame for him. That one put up in the air to left center field. Jones going back. Warning track of the wall. Jones up. Hey, got it! Adam Jones with a great catch, 400 feet away.
Something special right there. Fans, of course, appreciate it. Chris Tillman does as well. Great line on this ball and great anticipation on timing his jump as he climbs the wall in front of the bullpen. Quite a play right there by Gold Glove center fielder Adam Jones, taking away a home run. See Chris Tillman with the fist pump.
That one is going to go to right, and that'll be hauled in by Markakis. Alonso is retired, and 2 quick outs.
Well, take a look at Chris Tillman, his checklist on the scouting report. Quality streak. He's looking for his 5th straight. Well, good things happening for Chris right now, so definitely a check there. Step up. Yes, he has. His pitch count is up, but just 1 earned run, 5 2/3. Secondary success for sure. He's been mixing up his off-speed pitches, looking really good. This is a big step for the Orioles and Chris Tillman. He has been a great pitcher here recently for them. The streak looks like it's going to continue.
And a couple of very quick outs, and here's Kotze. Kotze has singled and flied out. Chris is a fly ball pitcher, and that's where the outs have been coming from here in this game. Pretty busy day around the outfield. That ball will be fouled away, and he gets ahead on the count here, 0-2. 98 pitches thrown. And I really think the pitch count, which he realizes is up there, he's become more aggressive in throwing strikes. He wants to stay in the ball game.
Yeah, well, definitely. And you know, he's been pounding the strike zone pretty consistently throughout this game. Great breaking ball right there. Finish up.
There's a tremendous inning. He has now retired 8 in a row, retiring the side in order with a little help from Adam Jones. Just from an auto stop, the foolproof way to get rid of gray. And by Antwerpen Toyota. When Jack says yes, you pay less at Antwerpen Toyota in Howard County Auto Park. Visit AntwerpenToyota.com today. Real good ball game fans get to see here tonight as it's 1-1. Each team with 4 hits in the game. 5 left on by San Diego, 3 in scoring position. 2 have been left on by the Orioles, only 1 in scoring position. Quinton, the home run, San Diego. Flaherty for the O's.
I'll tell you what, that last inning may have an impact on this Orioles offense. That great play by Adam Jones sometimes can ignite a team, especially when they're down a little bit. Of course, Cashner has been throwing a gem of a ball game, but the quick inning that Tillman had, I think, could possibly set a tempo for this Orioles offense here later in the game.
6 pitches, Mike, in that inning.
That was big, really big for Chris Tillman.
Top of the order, Nate McClouthy is grounded out and flied out. And a foul tip at the plate will even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike. This 24-year-old right-hander, impressive here in just his 5th start of the season, having worked out of the bullpen. In the air, right field. Venable gets there, and McClouth is retired, 1 down. Our AT&T Mobility Trivia Fact. Manny Machado, 12 career home runs. Tied for most by any Oriole under the age of 21, tied with Boog Powell.
Well, that's a great name to be associated with. Obviously, Orioles legend, great first baseman, American League MVP, Boog Powell.
And Manny with a chance to take over that mark. 1 down, and Machado will take the pitch up high. He is singled and grounded out. Manny coming into the ball game having obviously a great start to the whole season, but even more so here in the month of May. Coming in hitting .396 in May, 4th highest batting average in the league for the month. Overall, 2nd highest batting average against right-handers in the league. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery to him, and that'll be fouled the other way.
Look at Jim Presley right there, of course, the Orioles hitting coach, and every day I think he's impressed by the things that Manny Machado does, and I think especially how he handles himself in batting practice. Great preparation for games.
Down to third base. Headley's got that one in the dirt, and a pick by Alonso. Boy, the defense for both of these teams has been on in this ball game.
It really has. Of course, Alonso with that great jump timing his leap. Headley makes the easy pick, then spikes this one down in the dirt, but good concentration. Keeps his eyes down on the ball. Nice pick by Alonso.
So 2 quick outs here in the 6th inning. Here's Nick Markakis. He is grounded out and popped out. The Orioles hits have been by Davis, a double, Hardy the single, home run picked up by Flaherty, and Manny Machado's single. And the pitch will miss down low. Nick, like Manny Machado, has been putting up the multi-hit games. Markakis 1-0, and that will be taken for a strike. Nick has had 4 straight multi-hit games, getting 2 hits in each of them. He's got 14 multi-hit games on the year. Manny Machado's got 17.
Pretty impressive. Very consistent.
1-1 delivery. Ground ball to short. Cabrera bobbles, gets it, and records the out. Boy, these pitchers have got somewhere to go. Side is retired in order. We've completed 6. 1-1.
Quinton with the solo home run in the 2nd to put the Padres up, but Ryan Flaherty answers back with a line drive home run to left field in the 3rd, tying this game up. Quinton again thinks he's going to get the Padres the lead, but no. Adam Jones with the great defensive play on the end. Chris Tillman showing his approval with that great defensive gem. 1-1 ball game going into the 7th. Ryan Flaherty with the solo home run. Cashner doing a great job pitching. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, but Chris Tillman matching him all the way as he goes into the 7th.
And the pitch will be taken for a strike. Jerko will lead it off. He's drawn a walk and singled. Our Geico game highlights. Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. 7th inning, and the pitch away. Bottom 3rd of the order. The Orioles in interleague play have won 128, lost 158, a winning percentage of .488. Interleague play forever. 1-1 delivery on the way, and that'll be popped up. Davis will come over and runs out of room. That's one of those under the old rule. You might have gone down the steps and into the dugout and caught that. But you can't do that anymore.
No.
You must stay outside the dugout and lean in to make a catch. There is Troy Patton warming up. First action we've had in either bullpen.
Well, with Chris Tillman's pitch count getting up over 100 pitches, 102 to this point, Buck Showalter wanting to make sure somebody's ready.
Gets him. He's dealing. He's got 6 Ks in the ball game. The Orioles take on the Yankees, an early season showdown for division supremacy next Monday through Wednesday. Good seats remain. They will not last. Hope you'll get out and see the Birds and the Yankees. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com for details. One down, bases empty. Norfield will take it up high. He has singled and struck out. Mr. Norfield, the veteran, playing with Cincinnati, Oakland. Third year with San Diego. Big swing and a miss. A career .281 batting average coming into this season. One delivery and hacked the other way.
Chris Tillman's changeup has been so effective throughout this ball game, using it off his fastball.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that ball in the air to right field. Nick Markakis. And there are two down. Take a look at our PNC minor league report, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you.
Xavier Avery's down in Bowie right now, 3 for 5 with a couple doubles last night. A run scored, an RBI, and this season almost right at 300, 299 with a home run, 11 RBIs, 29 runs though in 33 games. Very good sign once again for the Orioles, as a lot of their prospects doing what they're supposed to be doing, having a lot of success in the minor leagues.
Chris Tillman trying to have another 1-2-3 inning. He retired the side in order in both the 5th and the 6th. Hundley's up and will foul it back. Nick Hundley has been hit by a pitch and hit into a fielder's choice. Last base hit picked up by San Diego. 4th inning with one down. The Kotsay single. As Tillman really regrouped after struggling earlier in the ball game. 1-1 delivery, and that will miss outside. Interesting too that coming into the game, like you're talking about his changeup, of his 4 primary pitchers used, that was the changeup has been the 4th as far as percentage of pitches thrown coming into the game. 2-1 delivery and down the line, headed into foul territory. Manny Machado, no play.
Well, Chris Tillman's stuff is so good. I mean, when he can throw all of his pitches for strikes, he's just a dominant pitcher, and he's been really good with his secondary pitches. I mean, hence the 4 hits given up to this point. So, you know, real good job. You see his pitch count right there at 111, season high 114. But he's coming off a start where he threw 93 pitches. So Buck Showalter thinking he's got a little bit more in the tank. Of course, the extra day's rest as well.
And he will finish this inning with a strikeout. That's 11 in a row. Retired by Chris Tillman. 7th inning stretch time. game of this short 2-game set. Freddie Garcia takes the mound against Jason Marquis. Our coverage on Masson will begin at 12 noon with those extra presented by Geico, and our game coverage at 12:30. All the access you need right here on Masson.
Should be a pretty good matchup tomorrow. Freddie Garcia 0-1, but certainly has pitched well enough to win both ball games. Kept his team in both contests. Jason Marquis off to a great start, 4-2. Just a 3.48 earned run average. Probably the ace of that staff for the Padres.
So we'll go to the bottom half of the 7th inning in this 1-1 ball game. Orioles 23-15, coming in a game behind the Yankees in the standings in the American League East. The Red Sox 2 out. Tampa Bay 4.5 and Toronto 9.5. As the Orioles made some changes today on their roster. What new there? That's a daily occurrence, it seems. Wei-Yin Chen, of course, put on the DL. So as a result, Alex Burnett, the right-handed pitcher, has been called back up. Third time he's been here, has appeared in one game. And the infielder, Yamiko Navarro, is back. 25-year-old, called up for a second stint. He did not appear in a game with the Orioles the first time up. Adam Jones will lead it off. He's been hit by a pitch and grounded out. And the pitch will be taken down low for a ball. Cashner, the starter. Tillman, the starter. Both on the mound for their respective teams in this one. Towering fly ball. Right center. Lenorfia. And he's got it. Before the game, a very special moment for Sunday when Major League Baseball recognized on Mother's Day the fight against breast cancer. Each team had an honorary Batgirl, and Krista McElwain was the one for Baltimore here tonight, threw out the first pitch. Her 13-year-old daughter you see there, she nominated her mom, and she said, my mom was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer in 11, went through treatment, radiation, chemo, every procedure. She led my church group on a mission to help repair homes in North Carolina. My mom's favorite phrase, hope and fight like a girl. She said, girls are brave. My mom, with her strong faith, has been an example for me. Please consider my mom for this contest. She won it here tonight. Krista McElwain and her daughter, Sarah Grace. Ground ball to second base. Play made. Davis retired, and there are 2 down here in the 7th inning. Well, when the Orioles win, everyone wins. The Orioles won and scored 5 or more runs, and that means you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Just enter promo code Orioles5 at papajohns.com when ordering. Valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. It's raining. Here's Wieters. He has struck out twice. That could be a weatherman. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Picked up on that like a duck to water.
I have no comment about that one, Gary.
Oh, I could tell. And I don't blame you. Once again, recognizing the quality education you got at the University of Maine. 1 ball, 1 strike count.
Brian Mattis up in the Orioles bullpen.
And a ground ball to second base. Boy, what a job both of these pitchers are doing. That will retire the side, and that's going to be 8 in a row that have been retired by Cashner, 7 complete.
Tillman, 7 strong innings, just 4 hits given up, 1 earned run, a solo home run by Carlos Quentin, 7 strikeouts on the night. Quite a performance, much needed performance by the Orioles starting pitcher Chris Tillman, and he gives way to Brian Mattis. Brian Mattis has been very solid out of the bullpen. He's been in 17 games this year, 3.00 earned run average, 15 strikeouts to 3 base on balls. So many weapons out there. Look at the opponent's batting average, just 140, 111 by lefties, just 174 against right-handed hitters. And what makes him so effective is here's a guy coming out of the bullpen, but he has starting pitcher's stuff, and he utilizes all of his pitches to the maximum, and he has quality outings.
So Brian Mattis will come on for the Orioles. We told you in games started by Chris Tillman, the Orioles have won 5 and lost 2. His record 3-1. He's not going to be decisioned in this ball game, but has given the Orioles a chance to win the game. Top of the 8th inning in the top of the order. Here's Cabrera, and will take the pitch for a strike. Cabrera, the switch hitter, turned around here for this at bat. 286 right, 218 left-handed. 0-1 delivery by Mattis to him, and a breaking ball and a good one. That one locked him up in an 0-2 count.
Sure did. That's a big bender from Brian Mattis. He paints a fastball for a first pitch strike. He just locks him up. I don't know that Cabrera had seen this pitch from Brian Mattis before. Kind of froze him up.
Left-hander's 0-2 delivery. That will miss outside. This game as close as the record in interleague play this year. The American League, coming into today's play, leads the National League 25-21 in interleague games, and they've been very close. 212 runs to 191 with the American League leading in runs scored, but not much of a differential there. 2-ball, 2-strike count. Quentin picking up the home run in the 2nd inning for San Diego. Flaherty for the Orioles. That was in the 3rd, and that's it. A run on 4 hits for each team, fouled off. So the count will remain 2-2. On Wednesday, May 29, the Orioles host the Nationals. First 10,000, 15 and over, receive the Crush Davis Power T-shirt. Celebrate the great start Chris has had. That's Wednesday, May 29 here at Oriole Park. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. Here's the 2-2 delivery, foul back again. O'Day in the bullpen. Another interleague game with the American League East team involved. The Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Giants. A couple of pretty hot ball clubs. Toronto's got an early lead. Well, mid-game lead. He got him. Brian Mattis, after some foul balls, comes right at him and gets a strikeout.
And that's some great pitching from Brian Mattis throughout the whole at bat. Look at him working the perimeter, and this one right at the bottom of the strike zone. Gets the call 93 miles an hour. He hit that spot earlier in the at bat, showed that he could hit it consistently, and he gets the strike 3 call there.
Well, Mattis records the out. Tillman had 7 strikeouts, just 1 shy of his career high of 8. Venable due up, but Guzman's going to come on and be the pinch hitter. For Venable, the right fielder. Guzman will stand in, but Showalter will make his way out. Guzman, a 267 hitter against lefties, 179 against righties. So Brian Mattis will work to just 1 hitter and gets the strikeout. Tonight, Chris Tillman, a great 7-inning performance, a run on just 4 hits. Ryan Flaherty, the home run, accounting for the Orioles run. Carlos Quentin, the home run, accounting for the Padres run. Text in your vote now, A, B, or C, 318-26.
Take a look at Darren O'Day here. Last 10 appearances, 1.74 earned run average, 13 strikeouts. Been so effective. Look at all of his pitches up in the zone, sweeping slider, great sinker as well. He's been in 18 games with that 2-0 record, just a 1.47 earned run average, 19 strikeouts against 7 base on balls. Opponents average just 200 off him. Lefties 320, surprisingly. 125 though for right-handed batters, and that's who he's got to face here. Jesus Guzman, the righty.
1 down, 8th inning, nobody on. O'Day's delivery to him. Guzman will take it, and it is in there for a strike. Toronto's leading the Giants 7-2, 6th inning of their interleague game tonight. Both teams hot. Giants winning 10 of the last 13. Toronto 5 out of their last 8. 0-1 count. Infield playing him to pull. And a strike taken. So O'Day comes right at him, gets ahead 0-2.
So many weapons by Darren O'Day. He can locate that sidearm slider. He can put it on the inside part of the plate. He can paint it away. He can get chases off the plate. Of course, his fastball dotting it outside right there.
And the 0-2 pitch way outside. Red Sox had a 3-0 lead against Tampa Bay tonight. They now trail 5-3 in the top of the 6th inning. Red Sox have won only 2 of their last 10. Tampa Bay's got a 5-game win streak. Longoria's red hot. Ortiz came into that game 1 for his last 17 for Boston. 1 ball, 2 strike count, and reached for it and got enough to foul it off.
Boy, such an effective pitch from Darren O'Day. That slider, it shows itself. It looks like it's staying over the plate for a long time, but right at the end, just enough spin on that slider to take it off the plate. Guzman lucky to be able to foul that one off.
As a pinch hitter, Guzman going 3 for 14 as a pinch hitter. 1-2 delivery on the way, and he got him. So the matchup works.
Well, this is my favorite pitch from Darren O'Day, to be honest with you. This fastball, he locates this pitch better than any of them, though. Top of the zone every time. Rarely makes a mistake with that pitch. So many hitters swing and miss right through it. Just at the zone or just above it. Very effective for Darren O'Day.
So 2 outs here in the 8th inning, both on strikeouts. Here's Chase Headley. Headley is struck out and into a double play and flied out to right field. 2 down, nobody on. Infield in the full sweep, and that got him. So O'Day with a hit batter, and Headley will go down to first base, or at least try.
Well, that sweeping slider held on to it a little bit too long. And you see it catch him. It's not funny. I mean, it hurts, but catches him in the front leg. Many times you see guys hitting the back leg with a slider.
That is the 5th hit batter by O'Day this season. He's hit 5 now to take the lead for the Orioles. Jason Hamels hit 4. So a runner on to first base. That is the first base runner since a walk to Jericho in the 4th inning. 2 down. Carlos Quentin, who had the home run. Quentin puts that one high in the air. It'll go to left field. McLeod over. In fair territory, puts it away. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. Bottom of the 8th inning. All about pitching. 1-1. Blue Shield will contribute $50 supporting the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. To date, the Orioles have drawn 116 walks for a total of $5,800. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. 1-1 ball game, bottom of the 8th inning. Just a heck of a game. Take a look at the defensive changes made. Amaristas come on to play in center field, and Denorfia, who had been there, moves over to right for Venable, who came out for a pinch hitter. It's a very light rain continuing to fall, and here's J.J. Hardy. Cashner stays on, working into the 8th inning. Their starter. Hardy a single, 1 for 2 in the ball game, has a 10-game hit streak now. And the pitch will miss outside for a ball. One of the most efficient performances we've seen this year. He's thrown 78 pitches.
Yeah, very effective, and he's mixing up his pitch as well. Just 40% fastballs, 30-30 with the curveballs and the off-speed pitches. So he's been very effective utilizing all of his stuff tonight against the Orioles offense.
1 ball, 1 strike count. He pitched 7 1/3 against Miami in his last outing. 7 1/3. That was his longest of the year. Came in with a fastball right there. He gave up no runs, 4 hits, and 7 1/3 against the Marlins. Hardy will take the pitch, and it is outside. Double barrel action in the bullpen. You see Joe Thatcher, the left-hander, Bill Gregerson, the right-hander. Hardy watches that one go by. That will miss. And one of the few 3-ball, 2-strike counts we've had in the ball game. Maybe an indication Cashner's running out of gas. We'll see. (3-2) timeout asked for. Bullpen door open. Ball out on the field. Three balls, 2 strikes. Right field. Denorfia just moved over there, puts it away. Hardy's retired, 1 down. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Orioles may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. The right-hander Andrew Cashner continues to get it done. 3-4 last year. He had 5 starts, 33 games with San Diego. And here is Flaherty, who hit the home run off him to left field in the 3rd inning.
Well, Cashner really hasn't had to labor through any innings to this point, and that pitch count's still down at 84. The most pitches he's thrown this year, 97 in his last start.
Up high with that one, and a 2-0 count. He'll ask for the new baseball. Pierce waiting on deck.
See the pitch count throughout the ball game, very consistent. Just that 4th inning up to 15 pitches. But I'll tell you what, any manager would be very happy with this performance.
Bud Black on the left, skipper of the Padres. That will be outside, and that is the first 3-0 count Cashner's had in the ball game.
Well, I think Ryan Flaherty scared him off that fastball by hitting that home run the opposite way. A couple change-ups. Being very careful here.
3-0 delivery. Flaherty will take it. It is in there for a strike. Flaherty thought he got a walk coming out of that one, but doesn't get it. Texas native delivers the 3-1, and that is ball 4. And there is the first walk that he has surrendered in the ball game. With active membership reaching record levels, the Junior Orioles Dugout Club will be on sale for only a limited time for kids 14 and under. A ticket to 6 games starting July 8, a hat, backpack, and more. It's only $15. Family and friends can get tickets starting as low as $6 with a chance to upgrade. So don't delay. Find out more, Orioles.com/dugout club. Alexei Casilla will come on to pinch run. Flaherty out. What could be a go-ahead winning run. 1 down. Pierce 0 for 2, couple of fly balls, and now the cat and mouse game begins at first base.
Yeah, you know there's going to be multiple pickoff attempts with Casilla over there. Casilla's been studying him the whole ball game. Probably has a good feel for what he's going to be trying to do. Steve Pierce, a couple great at bats off Cashner tonight, though. Line drive to left and a hard hit ball over to right center. Nothing to show for it, though.
Orioles tried to steal in the first inning. Manny Machado, after getting a single, was thrown out by Hundley. And the Orioles haven't had situations to run in since then. Until maybe right now. 1 down. Runner not going, pitch in the dirt. Nice play made by Hundley to come up with that.
Well, the good news for Steve Pierce, when you have a base stealer on first base and with a slow time, chances of him getting a fastball are pretty good. So he should be gearing up for that heat.
Casilla back to the bag with a 4 for 4 and stealing bases. Orioles as a team, 27 stolen bases, caught 7 times. We are tied at 1 in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Pierce outside, Hundley again. 2 nice plays by the catcher, and he'll head out to the mound.
Well, he's definitely losing a little bit of his command here in this inning. 9 balls to 4 strikes, 13 total pitches, and now along with Casilla on first base, you see him rushing his delivery a little bit just to add to the inconsistency of his strike throwing.
Casilla staying loose over there at first. 2-0 count. There he goes. Throw down by Hundley. Goes into center field. Over to third base goes Casilla. A stolen base and an error on the throw. A runner at third and 1 out.
Well, that's how you do it right there. I mean, Casilla with the great stolen base percentage in his career, just waiting for the perfect pitch. Probably not the best jump Casilla's ever had, but great speed down there. Of course, that low throw, Utley had to rush it as well in onto third base. Huge scoring opportunity for the Orioles. See Jerko unable to make that pick there. Casilla alertly looking up, seeing it in the center field, and then on into third safely.
Error number 3 charged to Hundley. The catcher, the infield is forced to move in. And the Orioles have a chance to get the lead as Pierce with a 2-ball, 1 strikeout. Anything now with 1 away to get Casilla in. Here's the 2-1 delivery. And he's going to do it. That's going to be a base hit into left field. Steve Pierce, the RBI, and the Orioles have a 2-1 lead.
Great at bat by Steve Pierce, and his bat has been heating up. He had some really good ones against Cashner throughout this night, really making great contact. And this one, huge for the Orioles. And you see how excited he is, fired up about that big RBI to put give the Orioles the lead Here's the pitch. It's a changeup. He stays on it and threw it. To see it holding up a little bit, making sure, and then scoring easily for the Orioles.
And that is going to be it for Cashner after a tremendous start. Pierce will drive him out of there with the base hit, and the Orioles have a 2-1 lead. Real great effort, but the Orioles get to him here in the 8th inning.
Yeah, great pitching line for Andrew Cashner. 7 1/3 strong innings, just 5 hits, giving up 2 runs, both of them earned, 3 strikeouts, only 92 pitches thrown. Pretty impressive start for Cashner, but the Orioles offense able to answer here late in the ball game. Now Joe Thatcher coming on in relief. 17 games this year, 1.69 earned run average, the 8 strikeouts to 1 base on balls, and he has really been a consistent left-on-left matchup guy since he's been a part of the Padres. Pretty funky delivery, steps across his body to throw, hard to pick up. Going to see a cut fastball and a slider from him. Just 2 pitches, but really effective, very tough on left-handed hitters.
Pierce on with the RBI at first base, 1 down. McLouth an 0 for 3 in the ball game, and the throw over for McLouth. Not a lot of chances against left-handers. 2 for 13. One of those hits a home run, so he's 154 off lefties, 302 off right-handers. That sweeping pitch will be taken up high for a ball. The Oriole closer getting ready in the bullpen. Orioles trying to add to their 1-run lead here in the 8th inning. There goes Pierce, taken all the way. Throw. Not a chance.
It's a surprise attack right there. Steve Pierce, really not known as a stolen base threat. Well, I'll tell you what, Buck Showalter, Wayne Kirby, timing is everything. First move right there, and Steve Pierce getting down there plenty of time. Big stolen base. Potentially looking for that add-on run.
So the Orioles 2 out of 3 in base stealing attempts in the ball game. A couple of stolen bases here in the inning. Steve Pierce had 1 stolen base last year. That was with Houston. 2-0 delivery on the way. McLouth will take the pitch outside. There's what Mike's talking about, timing. First stolen base of this season, and the 7th in his major league career. Sweeping pitch is in there for a strike. Thatcher has been the shutdown man, as Mike said, against the lefties. in his career. 3 ball, 1 strike count. Pulled back a little bit on that one. 3-2. Ironically, this year lefties are hitting .350 against him, and the right-handers .250. Go figure. Somebody did. They figured it out, I guess. 3-2. Runner on second base. McLouth will swing through it. And the strikeout is the second out of the inning, and we'll get another pitching change here with Manny Machado scheduled up for the Orioles. So both managers going with the matchups here in this 1-run ball game in the 8th inning. So Thatcher comes on, works the 3rd of an inning, gets the strikeout. 2 down, bottom of the 8th, Orioles up by 1. Go available on iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Orioles baseball, live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat 31826 or go to Orioles.com for details.
Well, Luke Gregerson now on. He's been in 18 games, 1.02 earned run average, 14 strikeouts to 4 base on balls, and he's very effective out of the pen, but he loves his slider. He throws his slider more than his fastball. He does have a 2-seam fastball to go along with the slider and a changeup, but you are going to see slider, slider, slider. If he gets ahead of you, all you're going to see is sliders.
Comes on to celebrate his birthday. He's 29 years old today. He had a 2.39 ERA, career high 9 saves, 77 outings with the Padres last year out of Park Ridge, Illinois. Workhorse went 2-0 with the 9 saves last season. Manny Machado. Runner at second base, 2 down. Machado's had a base hit. He is 1 for 3 in the ball game. Denied a hit last time up in a fine play by Headley at third. The Manny chant begins here at Camden Yards. There are 2 down. And that sweeping slider will miss outside for a ball. You see Manny Machado, 35 hits since April 23rd, most in the majors. First player under the age of 21 since 71 to have the 3 consecutive 3-hit ball games. 1-0 delivery to him, and that's going to be taken outside. The last major leaguer younger than 21 to do that was Rennie Stennett with the Pirates. 1971. And Manny's chances at having another game of 3 hits. Unlikely at this point. 2-0 count. And there's the sweeper. 2-1.
That is his go-to pitch. Doesn't matter what count, what situation. He feels real comfortable throwing that pitch, that slider.
That runner in scoring position, number 4, Machado, is 4th best in the American League, by the way. Miguel Cabrera is hitting an unbelievable .500 with runners in scoring position, leading the league. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way, and that's going to miss. So Machado works it, and a 3-ball, 1-strike count with 2 down. The Orioles got a 1-out walk. Flaherty picked it up. Casilla ran for him, stole second. Error on the throw moved him to third. Pierce got him home with a base hit, and now Pierce at second. He stole second. Gregerson, 3-1 delivery and a called strike. Right-handers against him, hitting 111. Left-handers just 130. He worked 2 days ago against Tampa Bay, 2/3 of an inning. Didn't give anything up. Three-two delivery. Manny on a roller down to first. It's going to be a fair ball. Alonso will was going to pick it up. Running back to the plate, and the out is recorded. Gregerson looks a little askance as turns back towards Manny. Jim Johnson looking for the save. Orioles up, 9th inning coming. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Mercedes-Benz, located on the web at mbusa.com. Gary Thorne and Mike Bordick here at Camden Yards, and a tremendous ball game. Jim Johnson on the mound looking for another save.
Yeah, 35 straight saves. It's an Orioles record, and he has been dominant. Look at that two-seam action there. He is a power pitcher with power movement on all of his pitches. 19 games this year, .95 earned run average, 17 strikeouts, 4 base on balls. But believe it or not, with all that power there, he is a contact pitcher as well. He loves to attack the zone. He loves keeping his infielders busy. He can get a lot of ground balls.
Orioles looking for the win. Top of the 9th inning, and a base hit into left field. The Orioles had Machado playing in at third base, and Alonso went after the first pitch and delivers a single here in the top of the 9th. Casilla will stay in the ball game, has stayed in, running for Flaherty, now playing at second base. So both teams have 5 hits in the game. By the way, that run the Orioles scored in the 8th is an earned run. The RBI picked up by Pierce. Now Kotze will go after the first pitch, and he puts one into center field. And the Padres come right back on 2 pitches from Johnson and have runners on at first and second base with nobody out. Let's update you on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game so far. Chris Tillman on top. Still time to text your vote, A, B, or C. 31826. Results on the O's Extra post-game show. So now runners on at first and second base. The Orioles defense getting set up for the bunt. Kyle Blanks has come on to run at first base for Kotze. And the Orioles will look for a bunt. Jericho at the plate. Sure wasn't bunting on that one.
3 fastballs, 3 swings, 2 of them obviously for base hits, but Jericho trying to tie this ball game up or put the Padres ahead with 1 swing.
Jericho does not have a sacrifice this year. The Orioles will still look for the bunt to try and get these runners moved up. Here's the 0-1 delivery. He's not bunting. It's going to go to short. Hardy, 1. Relay to first. Double play. Maybe wished he had bunted.
A pretty impressive play right there by J.J. Hardy. J.J. had a lot of things going on in this defensive play. Of course, having to protect the bunt, keep the runner close at second base, so he's moving around a lot out there. And that was a bullet hit at him, and he handles it very well. Ties him up a little bit. Great concentration to hold on to it. And Casilla with a quick turn to get that double play there.
Now 1 out away, but San Diego's got a runner at third base. And there are 2 down. And the pitch will be outside. Chris Denorfia has picked up a single. He has struck out and he has flied out. Has not faced Jim Johnson before. Orioles are looking for their 7th 1-run win. Here's the 1-0 delivery. Denorfia takes it outside. 2-0. A big ground ball double play as the Padres had a tremendous chance. 2 on and nobody out. 2-0 delivery. Denorfia fouls it off. Two and 1 on Denorfia. Jim Johnson after his 15th save of the year. 2-1 delivery. Denorfia, base hit. They've tied it up, and it will end the streak. Denorfia with an RBI single with 2 down in the 9th inning, and for Jim Johnson, a blown save on this May 14.
Well, it was a great streak. Johnson pretty lucky this ball didn't catch him as well. Right back through the box. Pretty good approach off Jim Johnson's Padres lineup as they get 3 base hits. Fortunately, there was a double play in the middle there.
And the ball game is tied at 2. Padres now out hitting the Orioles 7-5. And the quick throw over. Denorfia back with Hundley at the plate. So for Jim Johnson, the streak will end at 35. And a swing and a miss. And he will start to look for another streak as the Orioles now need to get the out here and get up in the bottom half of the 9th inning. And a ball pumped right side and out of play. Houston Street, closer for the Padres, is ready. Hundley with the 0 for 2 and has been hit by a pitch. Denorfia gets back into the bag at first. A single by Alonso, a single by Kotze, then the double play, then the RBI by Denorfia. Runner goes and hit him. That's the second time he's been hit by a pitch in the ball game.
Jim Johnson wanting to go in with this pitch, obviously not wanting to hit Hundley, but wanted it down in the zone. Seen a lot of hitters swing over that two-seam fastball when he could keep it down and in on hitters.
So runners on at first and second with 2 away. And here is Cabrera. Cabrera, the leadoff batter, with an 0 for 4. And the pitch is in there for a strike. San Diego with a 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position, the one that's tied the ball game up. They have left 6 on base so far. Cabrera goes to the middle. He's got a base hit. Denorfia makes the turn. Jones will throw to third. The run will score. They've got a runner in a rundown. The tag will be made, but the run will count. And an RBI base hit by Cabrera has given the Padres a lead going to the bottom of the ninth.
After the bottom of the ninth, and very uncharacteristic of Jim Johnson, the blown save. O's need a run to tie this thing up.
Well, you got to take your hat off to San Diego, up against the toughest relief pitcher in all of baseball, and they ended up coming up with 2 runs with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning.
So the Orioles will have Markakis coming up, then Jones and Davis. They need 1 to tie, 2 to win. Let's see how it turns out. Back upstairs to Gary.
All right, Jim and Rick, let's see what happens. Obviously a very disappointed Jim Johnson with the 2 runs, 3 hits, and an inning. And now the Orioles will have to go against the Padres closer, Houston Street.
Yeah, Houston Street obviously coming off a tough save opportunity down in Tampa as well. He gave up a home run to Evan Longoria in the 9th inning, but pretty solid on the year. 15 games, 4.91 earned run average, 10 strikeouts, 263 opponent batting average, lefties 259, righties 267. Good opportunity for the Orioles, though, as the heart of the order comes up in Markakis, Jones, and Davis.
So Houston Street, 8 out of 9 in saves chances. Really dramatic turn of events after the Orioles were able to get that run in the 8th inning to take the lead, and then have San Diego come back in the top of the 9th and get the RBIs by Denorfia with 2 down to tie it. The RBI by Cabrera. That is the go-ahead run for the moment. Now here we go. Bottom of the 9th inning. Nick Markakis, an 0 for 3 in the ball game. Markakis has faced Street only once, 0 for 1. Been a tough night for some pitchers. Toronto's leading San Francisco, but 10-2. R.A. Dickey, 10 strikeouts, 6 hits, 2 runs, 6 innings against Barry Zito, who gave up 5 runs on 12 hits in 5 2/3 innings.
Ouch.
Oof. Here's Nick Markakis, bottom of the ninth. Outfield will play it very deep, trying to cut off the gap shots. 0-1 count. Markakis now at 283 in the year. Street's delivery to him. That's there for a strike.
Street really not the typical closer. He loves to mix up his pitches. He's got the fastball, slider, and change. Pretty good change up right there. Really relies on the location of all of his pitches to have success.
0-2 delivery. That'll be way inside underneath the feet of Markakis. Just 2 games against the Padres. First one certainly interesting. 3 runs, 8 hits, an error on the Padres. 2-5-0 for the Orioles. Padres have left 7. The Orioles 3. Luke Gregerson suddenly becomes the potential winning pitcher in this game. That'll go to second base. Rico makes the play, and Markakis is retired. 1 down in the ninth. And of course, Jim Johnson, the pitcher of record for the Orioles. Here's Adam Jones. 0 for 2, and he's been hit by a pitch. Jones has an 0 for 4 lifetime against Street. The delivery to Jones, a ground ball towards short. Cabrera, big hop. Ooh. Jones hustling down the line, and there are 2 down. Street has gone 4 out of 5 in save opportunities against the Orioles in his career. This is the 11th game he's pitched in against the O's. 2 down, bottom of the ninth. Here's Davis. Long ball hitter against Street. And the pitch is taken outside for a ball. Chris Davis with an 0 for 1 against the San Diego closer. Luke Gregerson came on. We're just a third of an inning to get that final out in the 8th. Here's the 1-0 delivery outside.
Street pitching really carefully here to Chris Davis. A couple off-speed pitches off the plate away. He always nibbles anyway, tries to induce some weak contact like he has the previous 2 batters, but really careful here with Davis.
He's given up 5 home runs on the season. I mean, that's a lot, having pitched just now 15 innings.
It sure is.
2 ball, 1 strike count. 2 down in the ninth. Davis will foul it off, and Street comes back to even the count up at 2-2. Orioles have lost only 1 ball game this year where they've had a lead after 8 innings. 18-1 in those games. 2-2 delivery on the way. Davis will foul it back. Keeps his at bat alive. Two ball, 2 strike delivery coming from Street. Davis takes it and breathes again.
That's a great take by Chris Davis. Tough pitch, little change up here. So similar to his fastball. It's an arm action that really helps Houston Street. And that pitch is a really tough one to take, but great job by Davis.
3 ball, 2 strike count. Davis fouls it off again. 19,096 they announced tonight for the ball game. 1996, and they've really seen just a heck of a game. Two great starts. Tillman, Cashner, both giving their teams a chance to win. Street again. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and another one foul back. Eight pitches thrown by Street to Davis in this at bat. Three-two delivery on the way, and he walked it.
Great at bat right there by Chris Davis, laying off some really tough pitches. Houston Street, after Chris Davis fouling off 3 fastballs in a row, tries to go with the 3-2 change, but another good take by Davis. He's going to be pinch run for by Chris Dickerson. Some speed out there.
So the Orioles get the potential tying run at first, potential winning run to the plate. Matt Wieters. Wieters has struck out twice and grounded out. Has not had an at bat against Street. And will take the pitch away for a ball. In the bottom of the 9th inning, the Padres picking up 2 runs in the top of the 9th against Jim Johnson to get the lead in the game, 3-2. It had been tied most of the way with Quinton's home run in the 2nd and Flaherty's home run in the 3rd. And a big swing and a miss. And a pitch down and into him, 1-1.
A good aggressive cut right there by Matt Wieters. A slider on the inner part of the plate. Now Houston Street primarily lives out on the outer 3rd. Got away with one there.
1-1 delivery on the way. That's a strike. Back inside.
A little change up. He got lucky here too. Missed his spot by about a foot. Came back over the heart of the plate.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Dickerson off first base is running. Wieters fouls it back. So Buck Showalter wanting to give the Orioles a chance to score a run even on a base hit, sends Dickerson. You have the outfielders so deep in this situation that even a single could be turned into a double, or a single could score a run from first.
Now you're right. Chris Dickerson with great speed down there. If he's off on the run and there's a base hit, there is a great opportunity for the Orioles to score there.
Two down. Again, the 1-2, runner not going, bounced outside of first. Orioles have played only one other interleague series. That was against the Dodgers. 2-1 to the Orioles' advantage in that series. Houston Street coming on his 20th pitch in the inning. 1-2 delivery. Wieters takes it. 2-2. Two ball, 2 strike count. Runner goes. Wieters swings and misses, and the ball game is over. And a real disappointing end for the Orioles as the Padres come back with 2 runs in the 9th inning and take a 3-2 win in the first of this 2-game series And game 2 will be coming up real quick. The series finale in this short set. Freddie Garcia takes the mound against Jason Marquis tomorrow. Our coverage begins at 12 on Masson HD with O's Extra, presented by Geico, and our game action at 12:30. This has been a Masson presentation. Jim and Rick, O's Extra, presented by PNC. Coming right up, our final score in this one. The Padres beat the Orioles by a score of 3-2. From Mike Bordick and our crew, adieu.